Hello everyone. So I gave everybody the vote on YouTube on my channel to vote for the next Hello Kitty read. And it was so close because it was always this one, but then one of the other ones nearly catched up. But the winner of the voting for the Hello Kitty next read is Hello Kitty and Friends, the Cupcake Mystery. And this is book number 15, and this is the first chapter. I did have a bookmark, but I've lost it. It's unclipped itself somehow. But I will read you the blurb. Come and join Hello Kitty and friends. Things have gone missing in Hello Kitty's house. Is it a burglary or a ghost? The Friendship Club are on hand to help catch the thief and work together to solve the cupcake mystery. So we've read quite a few so far. These are all the ones on the back, and I'm not going to get every single one, unfortunately, because they've gone out of print, but we've read The Big Race, the magazine Mix Up, this one, the Halloween Parade, the Makeover Party, and the Animal Adventure. So, as always, I will show you the pictures like this. These are our characters. So we have Hello Kitty, Minnie, Tammy, Fifi, Dear Daniel, Mama, Papa, Grandpa, and Grandma. And this was published in 2014. There's 5 chapters, which are 70 pages, so normally there's 6, but there's 5. Okay, chapter 1. A mystery. Hello Kitty huffed on the window and rubbed it clear to look outside. She took a look at all the beautiful orange and yellow leaves on the trees and breathed in happily. She loved the autumn. Her twin sister Minnie was sitting next to her, stringing beads for a necklace and listening to the birds twittering in the trees. For once they had no friends around to play. It was just the two of them on a clear and crisp Saturday afternoon. Suddenly, someone tickled Hello Kitty's shoulder. She squealed and turned around. Papa was grinning down at her with a bag of recycling in one hand. It seemed like he was the only one doing any work that day. Hello Kitty and Minnie, I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong, both offered to help him, but he said he was only teasing. He was enjoying sorting out the house and tidying up all the old papers and magazines, and the clothes that they had outgrown of. He was going to put all the bags in the shed for now. He went out the door and down the garden path. Mimi showed Hello Kitty the necklace she had finished. It was long enough to wear now, and it was beautiful. She smiled as she said that Hello Kitty could have it, and that she would make another for herself. Hello Kitty grinned back as Minnie fastened it around Hello Kitty's neck. Crash! They both jumped and looked around as they heard the sound of breaking glass. The shed Papa came through the door looking fed up. Oh dear, he had been moving some things around and accidentally broke the shed window. He told the girls not to go near the shed while he cleared up the glass. Poor Papa. Hello Kitty helped Minnie make another necklace for herself. Now, what should they do? Mimi said she felt like baking, and that gave Hello Kitty a super idea. In the morning, they were going with their friend, Dear Daniel, to visit his granny. She was feeling a bit sad because her old dog had been rehomed a few weeks ago. She had been finding it to look after him as she couldn't walk him every day anymore. So they had decided to go and see if they could cheer her up. Why didn't they make some lovely cupcakes for her? Mimi thought it was definitely a super idea. They ran into the kitchen. Mama was there tidying things away, as she had been making some cupcakes of her own. They had each had one of them with the big glass of milk, and then they took one out to poor Papa, who was still tidying up the grass in the garden. Yummy. When they went back inside, Mama mentioned that the house was looking very tidy indeed now. Papa had cleared away all the papers and magazines that had been lying around when they asked her. Mama smiled and said that of course the girls could do some baking. She would help them. They got out all the ingredients they needed to make their cupcakes. Flour, butter, sugar, eggs. They set to work measuring and mixing. It was great fun, and of course the best bit was being allowed to scrape the mixing bowl clean with their fingers. We've all been there and we've all done that. While the cakes cooked, Mama made the girls a lovely autumn picnic to take out into the garden. She said she would take the cakes out of the oven when they were ready, and then the girls could decorate them once they were cool enough. I can't remember if I showed the page. Hello Kitty and Minnie wrapped up warmly and carried their food and a picnic rug out into the garden. It was wonderfully sunny outside and the air was clear and crisp for their picnic. Mama had given them little sausages, boiled eggs, warm tea in a thermos, and they each had one more of the cupcakes she had made to have for pudding. They set everything out neatly in the shade of a tree near the shed. They ate some of the sausages and boiled eggs, but after all the cake mixture they had eaten, they weren't very hungry for their cupcakes just yet. Papa offered to eat the cakes for them. They grinned and told him there was more in the kitchen if he wanted them. Papa went inside and the girls decided to have a run around to see if that would help them feel hungry again. They decided to play hide and seek. They knew all the hiding places in the garden, but it was still great fun, especially with all the piles of autumn leaves everywhere. They decided the swing would be a base and the person hiding had to try and get to it before the person seeking caught them. Soon they both had pink cheeks from running around. It did make them hungry though. They ran over to the picnic, but oh no, what had happened? The thermos tea was turned over, the rest of the sausages were missing, and worst of all, Mama's lovely cupcakes were gone. There were only the empty paper cases and a few crumbs left. Hello Kitty and Mimi stared at the empty plates. Maybe Papa had eaten them, suggested Minnie. They hurried inside to where Papa and Mama were sitting at the kitchen table. Papa was very surprised to hear about the missing cupcakes. He hadn't eaten them, he'd promised. They all went outside to take a look and figure out what had happened. Mama looked at the empty plates and thought that maybe a bird had flown down and helped itself. Hello Kitty frowned, but would a bird want sausages? And how had it taken the cupcakes and left the cases behind? A bird would have had to take them away too. Mama said it had to be a bird. What else could it have been? Hello Kitty grinned. Maybe it was a ghost. Minnie gave a little squeal. Papa told them not to be silly. Ghosts weren't real. But he and Mama did agree it was a mystery. Mama went inside to get the girls some more cakes as Hello Kitty nudged Minnie. This was exciting. It was their own real mystery. The mystery of the disappearing cupcakes. Chapter 2. A Strange Noise. That night, Hello Kitty and Minnie decided they would share a bedroom. They had their own rooms, but sometimes at weekends and in the holidays they liked to be together. They would sleep in Hello Kitty's room and put up a camp bed for Minnie to sleep in. They decorated the cupcakes, brushed their teeth, and then had a bath. After that, they got into their pajamas. It still wasn't bedtime. What could they do? Oh, they decided they had just enough time to paint their nails. Hello Kitty decided on a pretty pink polish called Rosy Days, and Minnie decided on a silver sparkly polish called Starlight. They let their nails dry and got onto the bed, but they still weren't at all sleepy, so Hello Kitty decided she would tell a bedtime story. Minnie hugged her teddy as Hello Kitty began. Once upon a time, there was a girl called Olivia. She lived in a big old house, and there was one room upstairs that she was never allowed to go into. She sometimes went and sat outside the door, and when she was there, she could hear someone walking inside. Minnie gave a little gasp. It wasn't a ghost, was it? Hello Kitty smiled. She didn't want to upset her sister. No, it wasn't a ghost. It was actually a little pixie. Minnie breathed out a sigh of relief. Phew. Hello Kitty went on with the story. The pixie was very sweet and friendly and could grant wishes when Olivia finally met him. They had lots of adventures together. The end. She finished the story with a smile. Minnie clapped her hands and said she was thirsty now, so they climbed out of bed and went downstairs to get a drink. Bang. There was a loud noise from the kitchen, and then a faint scrabbling sound. Hello Kitty and Minnie stopped in their tracks and looked at each other. What was that? Maybe Mama and Papa were in there. Hello Kitty listened hard. Minnie clutched her arm. Maybe it was the ghost again. Hello Kitty remembered her that there was no such thing as ghosts. She pushed open the door. The kitchen just looked like it usually did, apart from one thing. The purple vase by the window behind the sink had been knocked onto its side. The noise they'd heard must have been it falling over. It was still wobbling slightly. But how had it fallen over? There was no one in the kitchen. Hello Kitty went over and put the vase back where it usually was. It must have been the wind, she whispered. The window was open. The wind must have knocked it over. That had to be what had happened. Minnie looked out the window. There wasn't any wind. The trees were still. It was a cool autumn night without even a breeze to move the leaves. Hello Kitty could see her sister was thinking about ghosts again. She nudged Minnie and told her it was probably a pixie like in the story. That had made her sister smile and relax a bit. They both got a glass of milk and went back upstairs. Hello Kitty made up another story about the pixie granting Olivia's wish to have a pony. Minnie liked that story and she fell asleep with a smile on her face just before Mama came up to tuck them in and kiss them goodnight. Hello Kitty lay awake after Mama had gone. Her thoughts kept whirling around and around. Why had the vase fallen over in the kitchen? What had made the scrambling noise she had heard? And did it have anything to do with the missing food that afternoon? It was all very confusing. She couldn't wait to see dear Daniel in the morning and tell him all about it. She decided she would also ring up their two other friends, Fifi and Tammy, and tell them about it too. Hello Kitty, dear Daniel, Fifi, and Tammy were such good friends they had even made up their own club, the Friendship Club. They liked doing things together, like baking and making things and painting and having trips out, and making up rules about friendship. They had made a magazine, beauty potions, being in a fancy dress, parade, and even been on stage at a pop concert, but one thing they hadn't done yet was solved a mystery. Hello Kitty felt a tingle of excitement. Maybe it was time they became the Friendship Club mystery solvers.